Tempo for the 32X? No, this is Super Tempo for the Sega Saturn. This game was released in 1998 as the third game in the series. But this time, the word Super is in its name, so surely this is better than the 32X game, right? Well, I should first talk about the game itself. Super Tempo is a rather interesting platformer that is filled with many surprises. If you thought the first game was wacky, this one takes it up a notch in both the story and even the gameplay. It's a pretty solid game and it made some good improvements over the first Tempo game. The controls are more simple, the level design is more straightforward, the endings are more realistic to get, and the gameplay does have some variety. Overall, this game is much easier to pick up and play. However, the skill ceiling is much lower this time around. Even on the hard setting, I didn't find this game too difficult and I didn't feel like I improved a whole lot from multiple playthroughs. As for Tempo 32X, it can feel very awkward and difficult at first. But once you get used to the controls and learn the stage layouts, it can be very rewarding to blitz through certain sections. I definitely saw myself improving more and more with each playthrough, which is interesting since my first playthrough was a complete mess. It also has a lot of cool movement and attack options that aren't present in Super Tempo. So yeah, I do think Super Tempo is a more fleshed out game, but I personally prefer the 32X game. But this is a video on Super Tempo, so I should go over the controls. A and C will jump, and B will attack. Gone are all of the kick techniques and the note snapping of the 32X game. Now Tempo attacks by sending out bubbles from his violin. This will deal damage to enemies and can trap normal enemies in bubbles. While they're trapped, Tempo can jump into them to get bonus points. You can hold the B button to attack while on the ground, or you can attack while midair, which will make Tempo glide. It will only last for a short while, but you can press and hold the attack button again to reset the duration. As for movement, Tempo will run if you hold left or right. If you want to sneak up on certain monsters, you can tap left or right to perform a sidestep. He can also grab onto ledges, hang onto windmills, climb up pipes, and he can swim underwater. Another cool addition is that you can now play as Katie. Some areas will have a spinning cylinder. If you enter it by pressing up, you'll switch control to Katie. While she doesn't have as many movement options as Tempo, she comes equipped with a flamethrower and she can fly by holding the attack button while midair. There's plenty I haven't went over yet, but I'll save that for the long play. As usual, if you want a full in-depth guide, you can always check the link in the description below.
You know what time it is. Yo, homie, peep this! Tempo, check it out, you know, he makes it funky, and he's good to go. Bang, catch the move, New York, LA, and San Francisco.
Tempo's in the house tonight. You know it's gonna move your mind. The groove is out of sight. As funky as you wanna be. Tempo's in the house tonight.
Tempo's in the
You know it's gonna move your mind. The groove is out of sight. As funky as you wanna be.
Alright, and this is Super Tempo for the Sega Saturn. Now, if you couldn't tell by the video length, this game is very long. And I did have to cut out a few parts, but I'll get into that when they come up, and I'll also explain why. For those who know, you know, like for those who have played this game before, specifically that last level. But I am getting ahead of myself, I won't get into that yet. But first, I guess I should explain the story, because if you let the title screen play for a bit, like if you don't press anything here, it does give some story on what's going on. And the story is really simple. Like you have this prince, well, you don't see him yet, but pretty much the prince gets captured. It turns out Tempo and Katie are poor again. I mean, I don't know if this is a direct sequel to Tempo, but yeah, pretty much turns out Tempo and Katie are poor again. Like they just have no money. I don't know if they was poor to begin with. They didn't seem poor in the 32X game. It seemed fine to me. But yeah, they find this I mean, I am talking really fast compared to the slow text, but you see it happen. Like they find this bird and then they follow it to a house, and then they go on their journey to save the prince. So yeah, all of that's just happening right now. And Yeah, it's a pretty simple story. It'd probably be more interesting if I was actually fluent in Japanese, but my Japanese is freaking garbage, by the way. I've been trying to learn more and more of it lately, but I've just been so distracted by so many other things, so yeah, my Japanese is really bad, to say the least. But yeah, what can I say about this game, at least before we get into the playthrough? There are some things I didn't mention in the intro. Again, I will get into all of that when we get into the long play, but I'm just letting this intro play out first. And yeah, I guess I might as well talk about just this game in general. Not like how I feel about it yet, I'll save that for the credits, but just playing this game overall. So when I played the 32X game, I was getting bodied, like I was losing so much. I think when I first played it, I actually got stuck on the second level, if I'm not mistaken, the high five performance. And yeah, that game was really difficult. I had a hard time, and that was me playing it on normal mode too, so yeah, that was pretty rough. And when I went into this game, I was kind of expecting that kind of difficulty, especially since I actually started this game on super hard, because there are 3 difficulties. There's super easy, super normal, and super hard. So the very first time I played this, I just put it on super hard, and I was expecting to have a very difficult time, and with the exception of a few sections in this game, it was actually not that bad. Like, I did lose plenty of lives, of course, but I did get through the game eventually, and yeah, this game is actually not that hard to get through. The only thing I do that can stop a player is the 5th stage, but that's mostly due to a language barrier, and again, I will get to it when we get there. So yeah, that was the intro. We can finally get into the game itself. You will see me go to the options first, and I'll change it to super hard, which is the bottom option, with the top option being a super easy. So difficulty, it affects how many lives you start with, and it usually affects like the damage the enemies take and how much damage you take. Sometimes it can affect the boss patterns too, like the first boss would be much easier and quicker to get through if you put it on super easy. But yeah, for this playthrough, it was played on super hard. I should mention that I already did this playthrough and I'm just commenting over it. Anyways, there's Major Minor. Man, what a... I mean, it's not the Major Minor that I know. It's definitely a much different design. And it kind of sucks that you don't see a lot of him throughout the game. You only see him in these beginning cutscenes, and for the most part, these cutscenes are him explaining like the next area you're going to. And I think I went through it really fast, but you do have the option to listen to him, or you can just put don't listen to him. And if you listen to him, he usually gives you like advice on like the area or something like that. And I think for that moment, for that case, if you listen to him, he was talking about like getting all the collectibles and saving the prince. Anyways, when you start the first stage, the first thing you want to do is jump on this panda. And if you hold the jump button, you will jump higher and higher. It's barely noticeable, but I am getting higher and higher. So just hold the jump button. I'll eventually get up there to get the mermaid. Maybe one more. Almost, it should be the next one. There we go. So that is pretty much this game's one of the main gimmicks in this game in terms of how the endings work. There are a lot of collectibles to get in this game. That is one of them. So the way it works is throughout the game you can find plenty of collectibles like that. They come in the form of like dolls and toys. And when you get them, they not only grant a 1-up, but they'll also go towards the ending, because the main premise of Super Tempo is that, I mean, I already made a video on all of the endings. Like, I didn't really explain how to get them in that video, except for like a brief description in the video's description itself. But yeah, to get the endings, it depends on how much money you made throughout the game. And it's not your points. It's not like the 32X game where it's mainly your points. It's actually like all the collectibles you obtain. So pretty much, the more collectibles you get, the better chance you'll have at getting the best ending, which requires a lot of collectibles worth a lot of money. But there is a lot to talk about in that regard. I should be talking about what's going on here. Like, I'll talk a bit more about it at the end of the stage, since that's what it will show the collectibles anyway. Alright, so there are multiple sections in each stage. This is the second section. And the first thing you see is this weird jelly monster. If you sidestep by tapping right, you can touch it, and you get a health extension. And the highest amount you can get is 8 beans, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's 8. And yeah, another thing to mention is there are plenty of money bags in this game. If you jump on them, they usually give you a reward. Otherwise, they don't. Okay, now I need to stop myself there because this is a cool feature. If you press start and select the right option, the sound effects change. So you can tell the game sounds a bit much different. Anyways, I should explain these frogs. So if you jump on them in a specific pattern, you actually get a really cool bonus. Check this out. There we go. So yeah, you have to jump on the frogs in that specific pattern, and you get a bunch of score, and you also get another doll, which means more collectibles towards the ending and an extra life. So for this playthrough, I didn't really go for a lot of the collectibles. I was just trying to focus on finishing the game because the ending I wanted was the quote-unquote worst ending, and that requires like not having a lot of like collectibles and money by the end of the game. So you can kind of think of it as me trying to rush through this game in a sense. Anyways, hopefully you know Japanese, because this is where the game tells you, hey, like defeat the tadpoles in order to get Super Temple, in order to transform. If you don't know this, you're going to be stuck in this boss fight. So yeah, for this fight you just have to dodge the missiles from above, the drills, and then the boss is going to send out tadpoles, and what you have to do is defeat them by attacking, and then you jump into them. And sooner or later, they should drop a power-up that will let Tempo transform and defeat the boss. This boss is really easy if you know what to do. I mean, the game tells you in the beginning, but unless you like, if you don't know, then you're probably gonna be stuck here for a bit. Alright, so there it is. That's the Kalgi, and that will transform Tempo into a really buff dude. Which is pretty cool. And then from here, all you gotta do is smash all of the buttons, A, B, and C. As a reminder that X, Y, and Z buttons don't do anything. You just smash A, B, and C, and you defeat the boss just like that. So yeah, really easy boss fight. I don't know why I got Earthworm Jim vibes from that cutscene. I don't know. It's something about it. But anyways, here's one of the more important things. So your score at the end will affect the reward you're able to get, aka a collectible. I'll just call them rewards from this from here on out to make it more simple. So yeah, you get a reward, and then you're able to select from one of 3 of that category. So this is fish. I select the pink fish because I know it's worth the least. Again, I'm trying to get the quote-unquote worst ending possible, so I'm not trying to make a lot of money by the end of the game. So if you did get the fish, you didn't want to pick the middle one. Otherwise, if you're trying to get the worst ending, you pick the pink one. So yeah, there's all the there are the dolls, and they count towards the ending because I might as well mention it now. The ending you get depends on the total worth of all of the items you collected throughout the game. So, you know, if you're trying to go for the best ending, you would obviously want to get every collectible you can, and you know, try to get as much score as you can. But the thing is, there's a really easy way to get the best ending, and I actually get to go into that in this stage in particular, which is kind of like a haunted house, like a dark village. So now this part's kind of important. So I mean, I am speeding through the text, but what Major Minor is talking about is you have to find 4 ghosts. It's a dog, cat, donkey, and a chicken. And you need to find all 4 of them in order to exit the stage, and the exit's all the way to the right. And he also mentions, if you listen to him, that there is a game center you can enter to play mini games, and if you complete those mini games, you actually get a 1-up. So yeah, you saw me pause the game there to change the sound back to normal. If you really want to do a quote-unquote like a meme playthrough or whatever, you could just leave the sound as like the goofy sounds on, which was the right selection when you pause the game. And yeah, this is a part where I just try to like rush through it. Usually if you go in all of these houses, you'll get much more, but I decided to skip straight to the second house because there's a brain here that turns into an extra jelly bean. I keep calling them jelly beans, I don't know, but that's what they look like to me. Anyways, this house here should have health. Yep. And I'm pretty sure that bag turns into an enemy if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there's no point in me defeating it, so I just leave anyways. In any case, the goal of this stage, at least for me in particular, is to get off the animals, so I go up the stairs here. I think that's something I didn't mention in the intro. To go up and down like certain areas, you have to press up. Anyways, you want to go straight through that signpost, and then you would get this quote-unquote mini game right here. All you have to do is select the dog. The whole point is you have to select the animal that aren't any of the ghosts, and the only one that fits that criteria is a dog. Like, there's no cat, donkey, or chicken here. So anyone who's played is it called Ristar or Rystar? Anyone who's played Rystar would might remember the 4th stage where like as you get further and further in, like the music changes, and that's kind of like the same thing that's going on here with like the dog and all that. So with each animal you collect, the music does get more and more instruments, which is pretty cool. Always like that kind of idea. Like, it reminds me of Rystar. It reminds me of like that one town in Pokemon Black and White 2. I don't know if anybody remembers it, but yeah. So this is a trick I should mention. The account building I just went into is where you can trade in your points early for a reward. Now, if you're trying to go for the best ending, this is where you can easily grind it out. So what you want to do is, I don't show an example here, but you go into the account building, you pick the item that's worth a lot. If you want to know how much each item is worth, you can always check the guide in the description. I have a whole list right there with like how many points they require and how much they're worth. And the gimmick is you want to get at least 1 point, like you get a note. And then you just want to run back to the account, get the book again, and do that over and over and over until there's no more notes around to get. And the blue book is worth the most compared to the other books, so if you're going for the best ending, you just get a note, go to the account building, get the blue book, get another note, go to the account building, get another blue book. And I think if you have at least 20 blue books and like along with a few other collectibles, you just get the best ending. Like, it's that easy. So that's why I really didn't focus on getting the best ending in this playthrough, because if you want to, you could just grind it out, you know? Like, you don't have to get every single collectible. And yeah, right here I actually do show the sounds Katie makes in this when you change the sound effects. But I am going to leave it on normal for now. The only thing that is kind of unfortunate is that when you put it to like the funny sound effects, they don't affect the boss battles. So they only affect like the main stages. So yeah, oh man, so much is already happening. So you saw me get the chicken on the roof of the account building, and then I went into the spinning cylinders to switch to Katie. Then I went back to the main area and I flew all the way up to the clouds to find another house, and this is where we find the cat. So I probably should have been talking about that. I'm sorry I got so sidetracked, but hopefully this is easy to follow along. But yeah, pretty much with tempo, you go into that mini game with the dog, you pick the dog, then you go on top of the account building by climbing the pipe, and then you get the chicken, and then you switch into Katie with the cylinder, you go back to the main area, fly all the way up by holding the attack button while flying to go inside the house with the cat. And to find a donkey is really easy. All you have to do is run to the right, which is the end of the stage. Now I'd usually skip these enemies, the mummies here, but they actually can fly towards you and they can get really overwhelming, so I just prefer to take them out like on the way. And yeah, there is the donkey, which is the last animal we need. And yeah, all you gotta do is run to the right. And again, I should mention that this isn't a playthrough where I try to get all the collectibles, because again, you really don't have to. If you can just grind out the best ending, and there's nothing special for getting every single collectible in the game. Again, I did a video on all the endings and items, so you know, if you're curious on what the room looks like with every single item available, you can check that video out. And yeah, this is actually the boss battle. The first thing you want to do is collect these notes, and you should get a homing shot. So yeah, the letter H actually makes your shots follow the enemy, which is really good for this fight because the Red Riding Hood is usually in the air. Sometimes she'll be on the ground. Now, if you want to, you can actually go into this fight as tempo if you go back to the spilling cylinders and then exit the level. And it's not as, like, it's just as easy, especially if you have the homing shot. So you can pick whoever you want for this boss battle, which I really wish this game did more of that. It would have been really cool if, like, for every single boss battle, you can just pick if you want to use tempo or Katie. I feel like more of that would have been really rad. And yeah, really easy boss fight. That ended really quickly. And like, if you want, you can go fly around here to get some extra points. And I'm pretty sure I'm still flying around here because yeah, if you search these notes, you will get health, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I don't really need it though, so I do get points since I already had full health. And yeah, that is the end of this level. Yeah, there's more to talk about than I remembered. So, they play a song right here, which is the victory theme. Alright, cool. And that's the end of round 2. So, oh yeah, another important thing about this game is that I haven't tested the easier difficulties, but at least for the case of super hard mode, you do not get your health back upon completing a level. So, if you are trying to go for some kind of like no miss run, conserving your health would be very important. I'm not ashamed to admit that this is not a no miss run. I actually did die a few times later on in the game, and I can't wait to get into that mess. But the thing is that I didn't feel a huge incentive to do a no miss run, except for maybe one section, because when you lose a life in this game, which you'll see happen much later, you actually can just get right back up where you left off. So, you know, it's not like a checkpoint system. You just get right back up. But before I talk about that, let me talk about this. So, in this story, you see the mask take control of Tempo. He becomes a robot pretty much. And then he flies out of the house, and now your goal is to use Katie to save him. And this level is... Look, I'll get into it when it starts. It's something, alright? It is definitely something. It was a very weird decision, to say the least. But I will get into that in a bit. So as usual, before the level starts, you will talk to Major Minor, and he will give you some info on the next area you are entering. And yeah, there's really not going to be a whole lot for me to talk about in this stage. In fact, I'm actually going to skip a bit of it. Again, I will explain why once it comes up. And yeah, another cool thing is that you actually see the bees come back. They were actually a boss in Tempo for the 32X and Tempo Junior. But yeah, after you talk to them, the stage will begin and it will introduce a cool gimmick. So now it becomes a flying section where you take control of Katie and you can mash the shoot button to shoot really fast. It's kind of like a shoot 'em up section, right? And the whole gimmick is that you collect these tapes to enter like a mini game, and it changes the screen and you gotta shoot obstacles, shoot like enemies and obstacles and dodge everything. And it's good if you want to get points, but here's the thing. You can just go to the bottom right and stay there, and after 3 minutes the stage is over. Like, that's it. Again, you could touch the tapes to get like different effects. Yeah, so this is where it transitions. I did skip like 3 minutes of the stage, so it probably wasn't very clear from that like transition alone. But yeah, I just skipped like 3 minutes of it, and that was it. So if you just stay in the bottom right for 3 minutes, the stage is over and you go into the boss fight. Well, the stage isn't over yet, but yeah, you just go straight into the boss of this level. And what you have to do here is destroy the eggs. And you have to keep destroying them until a boxing glove appears. I usually prefer if the egg gets a bit closer first, so I don't have to go too far forward. And the boxing glove should appear sooner or later. any day now. There it is. And that'll let you transform into Super Katie. And now for this boss fight, the robot chicken, is that a rooster or a chicken? You know, I'm not even gonna question that. Anyways, the boss he'll start spinning into a tornado. And what you have to do is shoot the eggs that he sends out and make sure that it goes right into the tornado, which is kind of RNG, I guess. It won't always land on the boss, but it's really reliable. So it takes about 3 to 4 hits. That's 2 hits right there. That's 3. So it should be 1 more, and that is it. There we go. Beautiful. And now this is the part where the boss will start running towards you. If he makes contact with you, he will damage you. I don't know how much damage he does, but what you have to do here is punch him back. And you probably saw it there just now where after you defeat him when he's in a tornado, he does drop some points. Now every time you punch him, he gets faster and faster, and after about 10 hits is when he goes so fast that you want to already be drawing out a punch when he lands. So I think that was 8 hits. So this is where I start like punching right when he lands from getting hit, because like it's too fast to react to, so you kind of have to anticipate it because he's moving so fast. And again, your attack isn't fast enough to use like immediately, so you kind of have to time it. But once you get the timing down, it's a really easy boss fight. Now I should mention that this is one of the few sections where, like, for plenty of for certain fights in particular, like that section, if you lose all of your health, the boss fight actually does restart. It's not like what I said earlier, where if you lose a life, you can respawn right where you left off and continue with full health. For that section, if you do lose a life, you do have to do that boss fight again. Now this last section, Temple will be shooting lightning bolts at you. You have to melt the ice first with your shots, and then you have to make contact with him, and the stage will be over. And okay, I don't know if it's just me. Hopefully someone can agree with me on this. But it looks like all they did for this this part is the animation that they just ripped the sprites from the 32X game. Because they look way different compared to the sprites they have now. Like, hopefully I'm not bugging out. Like, it looks exactly the same. And I'm not complaining. Like, there are plenty of animations reused. Even Katie's idle animation is just it's Tempo's idle animation from the prototype of Tempo Jr. Which I probably might show in the intro. I'll see. But yeah, as usual, I had to keep my points really low, mainly because I didn't have to touch any of the tapes. And look, I'll say this, the stage is interesting if you do interact with the tapes. Like, you get some really interesting backgrounds and enemies to like attack and avoid, but again, if you want to, you don't have to do it. It's like it's player choice, you know? Like, you can do it if you want to, but for this playthrough, I didn't feel like doing it, so I just stood to the bottom right, and that was it. And now we're getting into level 4. Now, I think it's about 25 minutes in this long play, and there's still nearly an hour left. So I'm like, okay, like, what's taking up all of this time in the long play? And I'll get into it later. I don't want to talk about it right now. Anyways, you get to talk to Major Minor again if you want. He will explain the 4th stage a bit, which is it's an interesting stage. It has a lot of waterfalls and stuff to climb up. And it's a pretty good stage if you want to increase your maximum health, because I think when you get game over, your maximum health goes back to 5 beans. So if you get game over around here, you can actually get max health really easily, because there's a bunch of these jelly looking monsters. And you can just sidestep to them and increase your maximum health. Now, because I already have 8 beans as my max amount, all they'll do is give points, so I stop collecting them. And for this stage, what you want to do is follow the hand sign. So right there is telling me to go right, and that's exactly what I'm doing. And yeah, as long as you follow the hands, you should be good. Now, to climb up these waterfalls, you hold up while jumping. And if you mash the jump button, you will actually go, like, if you mash the jump button, you go faster. Okay, I don't know what I did there. I was actually supposed to jump on the bag, but, like, I thought I was in the wrong area. Because I'm like, okay, I know what I'm looking for, but it's like, is this it? And then, like, I realized, wait, that was it. But anyways, I'm making my way back, and what I want to do here is I want to jump on that bag for a power-up. It should be the Kawagi. There it is. Now, with this power-up, you immediately want to run to the right and find 2 golem enemies. The reason why I always go after them is because they can actually drop health if you defeat them. And you can defeat them as regular tempo, but it does take like 4 to 5 hits, so I just prefer to transform and punch them in one hit in order to defeat them. And I should just have barely enough time to hit the last one. There we go. And I'm back to max health. And now from here, I want to continue on with the level. So again, follow the hand signs. This one's pointing diagonally, and that means we have to jump on these clouds. I don't know if you can make that jump without gliding, but as mentioned before, if you want to glide, you just hold the attack button while midair. And just keep jumping up these clouds, and you should be at the spilling cylinder, which will let you go into Katie. And yeah, this level is also pretty short, because you just go up these clouds, you switch to Katie, and then Katie just flies to the end. And then you just enter a boss fight. So yeah, the music does change while you have control of Katie, and all you have to do is fly to the right. Now if you want to, you can get jump on that bag to get a power up. You really don't have to do this, you can just fly to the right instead, though you will have to avoid the enemies that come up. But yeah, as long as you make these jumps, you should be good. So in the super, I should mention, obviously in the super form you don't take damage. So you could just make the jumps and you should be good. And I think the transformation will end early because a cutscene's about to happen. Yeah, there it is. And I could be wrong, but jumping on those bags should give you life. But I didn't need to do that since I already had max health. And yeah, after this will be the boss battle. Yeah, like you can even see there that the transition from her like going from the 32X sprite to the Super Tempo sprite was kind of weird. But yeah, this is a boss battle, and this is where I get to mention the strat I usually use. You might have actually already seen it in the first level, where if you if you hold the attack button in the air, you will glide and attack, right? Now, if you tap it in a rhythm, like you can't tap it too fast, but if you like tap it at a specific rhythm, you actually attack way faster than if you hold it. And by doing that, you can actually get through this boss much faster. Like you can see right there, I already destroyed an arm, and the whole gimmick of this boss is it'll come up in your current location. You have to destroy both arms first, so I already destroyed the left, and now I'm destroying the right. And when it goes back in, like when it goes back on the ground, it'll do like a few attacks, and then it'll come back up at your current location. Now, you want to make sure that after it's done attacking it, that you're on the left or the right side of the fence. And the reason is because you want room to maneuver. Like, if you make him spawn right in the middle or something, you might not have enough room to like run away. So, always try to make him spawn on the left or the right side. And yeah, when he has no arms, when both of his arms are destroyed, the boss fight is much easier. And from here, you have to destroy its body. Does he actually do the... Oh, wow, okay. Huh. So, yeah, he has another attack where he, like, summons a tidal wave and, like, it brings you towards him and you just get hit because you made contact. He actually did not do that this fight. I'm very surprised because usually when he does that, like, you can't damage him, which probably sounds like a nightmare for speedrunning and, like, this RNG. But, yeah, he actually didn't do that attack there. I'm very surprised. I'm pretty sure, I could have sworn he did, but I guess not. Now, if you do collect the steering wheel that he drops to the left, you do get a free 1-up. It's not a collectible or a reward or anything like that. It's just a 1-up that you can get for free, that's it. And yeah, that is pretty much the end of level 4. There is one more area, but it's more like a bonus. It's more of like a bonus area. I do apologize for stuttering so much, but yeah. There's not much to this area. You can get another extra maximum health, assuming you need it, even though the stage has it in spades already. So I don't know why. But yeah, if you touch this music note behind the tree, you can get these extra music notes. And a brain should pop up once I get all of them. And of course, you do get points for collecting these. So again, it's worth doing so. But yeah, there it is. I obviously didn't need it, but I just want to show that you can get it. And now coming up is level 5, and man, level 5, I get to talk about this level. I hate it and love it at the same time, if that makes sense. I really do. It's the level I hate the most, but it's the level I also love the most. I know that sounds weird, but again, I will get into it in a bit. So I actually did get enough points to get a car. Again, I am trying to go for the quote-unquote worst ending, which is the one I prefer. So I'm going to select the car in the middle since it's worth the least. The yellow car, wait, car. They're actually toys. So I selected the red toy in the middle. If you're trying to go for the best ending, you'd obviously select the yellow toy on the left, because that's actually worth more than the other two. Anyways, this is level 5, and it's up until this point the game's been okay. Like, it's been pretty fun, it's alright, but this is where, like, if you're rushing through the game without prior knowledge, you can get screwed over. So especially if you actually don't read like what Major Minor is saying, because if you listen to him, he actually does mention like one of the first gimmicks you bump into, and thankfully it's like the only one. Like, it's a pretty simple thing, but again, if you don't know about it, then you'll probably be in the stage for quite a while. But yeah, here's how it works. So this stage will have you going up and up and up, and for the majority of this stage, you want to hold up in order to climb up the rocks and climb up the platform. So you see that soon. So I think I do run to the right first to check if there's anything like secret. I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here. So yeah, for this stage, you have to keep jumping up these rocks. Now, always keep up held as you're doing this, just in case you can't make it to one of the rocks. And yeah, you just want to jump off them as you're climbing up them. And another tactic you see me use is gliding, just so I can depend on another rock falling, and then you want to touch those gears. Now these gears are important because you see that each of these gears have a note on them, so for that you see like a double note. So I'm trying to touch it, you see it light up right there. You have to remember each note from bottom to top. So that's 1 and that's 2, kind of like that squiggly note. I used to play the clarinet. How do I not know what these notes stand for? Oh, this is very embarrassing, but yeah, and that's the 4th note. So remember the notes from bottom to top in that order. So it's the double, and then the 2 squiggly ones, and then the triple one. Jeez, I used to do a lot of music class. I really should know what these notes are. So to any music enthusiasts watching this, I really do apologize. I mean, I could get back into music if I wasn't so stuck up on guides, but it is what it is. Alright, so yeah, when you get to the top, you do have to fight this bird. He's actually pretty easy to defeat. You just gotta keep hitting him with your bubbles as usual. And then once you defeat him, the main door will open. Now, once you go inside it, make sure you remember the notes. So you have to remember the order from bottom to top from each gear. Thankfully, I do, and you do use the buttons to confirm each one. And I'm pretty sure the B button actually lets you go back in case you made a mistake. But yeah, if you actually get that wrong, you do get sent to the bottom of the stage. And the notes actually change, like the notes on the gear. So you have to remember a new order now. So my advice is to get it right the first time. But once you know that, the stage isn't too bad. Again, really, I think the only part that's a little annoying is just climbing up. But as long as you keep upheld, and as long as you're gliding, you should be fine. Okay, not bad overall, but this is where it's this part in particular where I hate this stage and I love this stage. So I can't wait to see that happen in a bit, as they fly off into space on a unicorn of all things. And yeah, so after this section will be the final level. But before this section begins, Major Mida does talk to you one last time. Yep, there he is. And he actually does explain an interesting part of this level. And I'm pretty sure I show it right here where you can actually listen to him to get a hint. So yeah, I did click right there. I should mention that the left choice is to listen to him, and the right choice is to not listen to him. Because I forgot. Anyways, he mentions do re mi. He doesn't tell you the rest. No, do re mi fa sol la ti do. Even though you know, it's Japanese, so it's not quite that. You know, it's not 8 notes. Like, you know, obviously we're used to the traditional do re mi fa sol la ti do. I'm pretty sure it's different in Japan. I could be wrong. If I am, I do apologize. At least for this section in particular with the piano. But yeah, this stage right here looks freaking gorgeous, yo. Like, I mean, well, it's mostly trippy, but this has my favorite track in the game by far. Like, it's not even a contest. This is like my favorite track in the game. And it's mainly because a lot of the music in this game is just recycled from the older tempo games. Now, the main gimmick of the stage is that it will have some questions to solve. And you gotta pick the right answer by going up or down. Now, if you don't know Japanese, don't worry about it. All you need to do is look out for that black hole or find the cheerleader. The cheerleader is the path you want to take. So as long as you see one of them, you immediately know which path to take. So pretty simple. Like, again, if you don't know, like, for example, but for some questions I do know, like, this is a horn, so I just go up immediately because I already know what a horn is. I'm pretty sure the bottom answer is a saxophone. I could be wrong, but yeah, like, you're just answering questions, you're avoiding the meteors. I'm pretty sure those silver spiked meteors just one-shot you, so definitely don't touch those. But yeah, you might be asking, okay, why do I hate and love this stage? Well, obviously I love this stage just because of, like, its atmosphere and especially the music. I really love this track a lot. And this music's so good. Anyways, let me focus. I'm sorry. As I was saying, damn, I'm trying to concentrate. I'm like getting distracted. All right. Let me just ignore the freaking music to this. I gotta ignore the music and the stage alone. It looks really cool. All right. Anyways, the reason why I hate this stage a lot too, like, I mean, I don't hate it so much, but also this question, I'm pretty sure, I don't know who that is, but I know the bottom answer should be Beethoven, and I know that ain't Beethoven, so I just go up. But just in case I was wrong, I did weight it in the middle. Anyways, one of the reasons why I hate this stage is the controls. I mean, it makes sense. It's very, very floaty. I get it. But later on this stage, it becomes very, very rough, and you will see that in a bit. But the controls are very floaty. It's very hard to control this house. It always feels like it's moving, and it's very, very difficult to like get it to just stop. Like, this to stand still. You have to, like, to get it to stand still, you just have to make very, very delicate taps on the D-pad. Anyways, the last question right here. I hope you know your do re mi's, because this game ain't telling you. You just gotta figure it out. Now, I'm sure I'll put an image up for like all of what each key represents, in case you get confused in this area and you can't see that doll in the bottom right. It will give me a 1-up if I collect it, but again, I am trying to get the quote-unquote worst ending, so I do avoid it intentionally. But yeah, I do pick the right note. Again, I'm sure I'll put an image up of like what each key represents, in case you're confused. So yeah, if you use that as your, like, you know, quote-unquote cheat sheet, then you should have no problem with that section. Now you can see that I faded in and out because I actually did lose multiple lives here. So I lost one right there, and then, like, yeah, when you get hit, you get bounced back, so it can really screw you over. And yeah, I did lose 2 lives in that section. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I was getting bodied, yo. Anyways, I do leave it off here because this is where I actually get it right. And now you can see for yourself how crazy this level can get. So thankfully, the unicorn itself isn't your hurt box. Like, your actual hitbox is the house itself. So as long as you know that, it's a bit more bearable. I don't know what I was thinking trying to stay on the bottom. There are just some meteorites that you can't avoid that way, so I take a hit there. I don't know how this... Jeez, I don't know how I was successful in this attempt. But, unless I actually did lose a life here. I could be wrong. But, yeah, this stage is rough. I mean, again, it's not necessarily the obstacles and the size of your hitbox. I mean, it is actually. It really is just that you're a big target, but this, I'd be fine with both of those aspects if the controls weren't so freaking floaty. Like, it's very, very weird. It feels like I'm playing Irritating Stick. Does anyone know about Irritating Stick? Maybe I'm the only one who does. I don't freaking know, but it feels like I'm playing Irritating Stick on the PS1. It's a freaking mess, alright? Anyways, there's a 1-up. Don't let it trick you. It pulls off some like, the game... Yo, that is so cheap. I actually got... When I first played through this game, I actually got caught by that meteor and died. It's a very cheap move at the end, especially since there's a 1-up there, so you just gravitate towards it and take the top path. And then you get a meteor right to the face. So, look, this section isn't as bad as I'm making it out to be. I still love this stage, but the controls, man, it's so weird. But immediately after that stage is the last stage. Now, I need to talk about this last stage, alright? You can see the runtime of the rest of the video. There's like 40 minutes left. Now, obviously, some of that time is going to be taken up by the, like, the ending cutscene and the credits or whatever. But has anyone ever played a little game called Metal Slug 3? I actually love that game. I played it a lot when I was younger. I still love that game in a sense. It's not my favorite Metal Slug, but I still love it. But if there's one thing I know about Metal Slug 3 and anyone who's played it, is that that final mission in Metal Slug 3 is very, very long. It takes up like half of the game pretty much. This is more or less the same exact thing. Where you're at the final stage, the game's been at a pretty good pace so far, and then all of a sudden the game gets longer. Now you might be thinking, come on, it's not that long. I mean, there's like about 40 minutes left in the playthrough. Yeah, I actually do lose a life here, but again, you can just respawn right where you left off. So I will lose some lives in this level, but I'm not too worried because, like, at this point, like, I already died earlier, so like my hopes of trying to do a no miss run is already over. So I was getting really reckless in this level. You see me mess up a lot here, but I do still get through it eventually. Now, you might see the time like, okay, 40 minutes isn't too bad, and like including the ending and the credits, so the stage is like 30 minutes, right? No, there's one more thing about this stage that is nasty, and I actually had to cut all of it out, and we'll get to it when we get there, all right? Like, this stage, it feels like this stage was made to waste my freaking time. Like, man, like I could have, it's hard to believe that, like, up to this point, if I wanted to, like it's been like 45 minutes so far, right? I could have beaten Tempo 32X twice, like, at least with, like, if I'm playing it in a speedrun sense, right? But yeah, this game is long. And again, I need to reiterate that I did cut out some sections. Like, you saw the meteorite section, but I cut out, like, I speeded through 2 of my deaths, and also the KD section where it's like 3 minutes of flying. And there's still one more section I need to cut out. Like, it's so long. Anyways, in this section, you want to get all these notes. I don't know how I missed it from going down that pole, but whatever. Once you get all the notes, the bag will appear right there, and what you want to do is jump on the red chair, and then you just jump up on the bag. So yeah, I should be talking about this level, but I'm so distracted by how long this level is. It's ridiculously long. And this game has no save feature. There's no save feature in this. Unless there is, and I don't know about it, maybe you have to get game over and select no? Maybe? Like if there is a save feature, let me know. But as far as I'm concerned, there is no, like, as far as I know, there's no save feature. I'm losing it right now. I gotta calm down. There's no save feature, which is weird because oh yeah, if you hit this metronome, all the enemies get defeated, which is really cool. That will pop up again later. And damn, this commentary is now sounding like a mess. I'm just going back and forth. My mind's all over the place right now. But yeah, like there's no save feature. There is no password feature, which is weird because The 32X game had a password feature, and even Tempo Jr. had a password feature, and that game's the easiest in the series, so I'm surprised that like even had a password feature, which is cool, I guess. You know, it was meant for kids. But yeah, this game has no password or save feature. You just gotta do it. And thankfully, the game isn't hard. Like, it's really simple. Oh yeah, I should mention that those pictures in the background can hit you if they blow towards you. But I am in the super form, so that won't be the case. And yeah, like, this game's very long, but at least for me personally, this game is still pretty easy. So it's like, I don't know how to explain this. I'll talk more about it when we get into the credits. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Maybe stick to talking about the stage. I apologize, alright? Anyways, you see two elevators here. The left one will take you to the second floor, which is good if you want to get some more goodies and collectibles, like especially if you try to get every single doll in the game. But I decided to skip that and take the right one, which leads to floor 3. So if you are trying to get through the stage faster, you do take the right elevator, which will be the case again. Oh, man, there's so much I want to talk about. But again, I gotta relax. Anyways, in this section, you will bump into a dead end. And yeah, there's no way to go but inside this door. So it might be pretty obvious. You can't go up there, so what you have to do is switch into Katie by going in the spilling cylinder. I don't know what it's actually called, but like I don't have the manual to this game, so I just call it the spilling cylinder. Anyways, you can get a homing shot. The thing with the homing shots in this game, the homing power-up, is that I don't think they last long. They kind of last for like a minute, maybe half a minute, before they go away. At first I thought maybe it's because I got hit, but they kind of just go away anyways. Now again, I am trying to blow through this game. If you are trying to get every single collectible and like, you know, all of the points, obviously you'd want to go inside every single room you find, you know, for like level 2 and this level specifically. But obviously I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to get to the end. So oh, excuse me, I actually burped right there. But yeah, I am just trying to blow through this stage. I'm not trying to go into all of these rooms and like get every single collectible. And yeah, there's not a whole lot for me to say in this section because again, I am just trying to like run through it. And I'm pretty sure in the middle there will be a power-up. Okay, there's one important part about this section right here. So you will get this boxing glove power-up, and again, if you are trying to beat this stage, your first notion would be to just go all the way to the end and just get to the next door. But the thing is, the next door coming up, you actually can't enter unless you pick Tempo. So I use this power-up to destroy some of the frogs, and that should be enough. Yeah, there we go. Just barely enough time. And I run immediately back and find the spilling cylinder. Now don't touch that bag because it does let you transform again. I'm pretty sure it turned into a Kalgi if I select the Tempo. So you switch to Tempo and then you just make your way to the right. But yeah, I don't need to transform again because I already just defeated all of the enemies, and so yeah, I think I show it right here. So you can't get that if you want, but I already defeated all the frogs here, so I just okay, maybe I should have transformed to avoid that, but I kinda jumped over it. But yeah, you go inside this door at the end and you'll be at this bathroom. Or after you go inside the elevator, of course. And now what you want to do here is go inside the tub. And there will be a short swimming section to get through. It's pretty easy. Now I usually try to get past all of these enemies. You'll see these quote-unquote black holes that can suck you in. But if you get the note right near the black hole to the bottom left, you'll see it right around here. So you just want to grab and then immediately go back. By touching these notes in order, you will actually get a cookie, which I didn't need it because I didn't have full health. Yeah, just go up here and you'll be in another bathroom with more notes to collect, and I'm pretty sure it's yet another cookie. Okay, I've been calling them cookies. I'm pretty sure in the guide I called them crackers. Maybe they're pies, I don't freaking know. But you know, call them whatever you want. But yeah, pretty much health pickups, right? So after you deal with these frogs, there will be another section where you have to go across a very long pool, and it's a pretty easy section. Like from here on out, it's actually not that hard. Like I really don't have to say anything here. It's kind of, in fact, plenty of this game is kind of reminiscent of Tempo Junior, and I mean, I don't mean in terms of like the game itself, but like I just mean the difficulty. Like this game felt really, again, it felt really easy. Like it really felt like it was meant for kids. Like I don't know what else to say, which is weird because there are the sections like in stage 5 where it can be very rage-inducing if you're not careful, or if you don't get used to the controls. Okay, there are 3 elevators here. Take the right one. If anyone has played Temple for the 32X and gotten up to the end, it's actually the same exact nonsense where if you take the wrong elevator, it sends you back. So always take the right elevator if you want to progress. And even this room was actually in the Temple 32X. At this point I was expecting Zenza, like the final boss, to appear from 32X, but no, he's actually not in this game. Unless he is, and like I completely missed him. I don't know. But yeah, like if you take the wrong elevator there, you just go back. Again, the 32X game did the exact same thing. And it's still giving me the notion that this game is just trying to waste my time, yo. Like I just want to like play. I'm not trying to go back and forth, back and forth. Well, obviously, if I was like playing this as a collectathon game, sure, but like just trying to beat it, man. Like even if you're trying to get all the collectibles, why would you want to go back anyways? Like it's so stupid, yo. Anyways, I'll get over it. The reason why I'm complaining about it now is because I did get screwed up in my first playthrough. I came across the 3 elevators and I was like, oh snap, I know exactly what's going on here. And obviously I didn't know the answer, so I picked the middle one, and I'm pretty sure that sent me to like the 2nd or 1st floor. I don't remember. And I was so mad. But I was like, whatever, let me just get through these sections again and like not make that mistake. Thankfully I did get the right answer the next time. I just picked the right one. But yeah. Anyways, for this section you can go in the left door if you want to cash in your points now, because coming up is the final bosses. Or you can go in the right section to play some mini games, which I finally get to show off. So that's Pizza 2, Karate, and Samurai. And all of these are rhythm based, so what you want to do is press the button to the beat. And for both of these mini games, you see the word now appear, which signals when you have to press the button. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, if you play the 32X game, you'll know that this is pretty much the exact same mini game. I don't know why they called it Pizza 2 when it's still the exact same, even the background and all that. In fact, I'm pretty sure I did a green screen of this at one point because the background is just a flat color. And yeah, I do mess up here intentionally to move on. And yeah, there we go. Now, if you do the mini game perfectly, you do get a 1-up for it. And the further you get in it, the more points you get. The way it works is that every time you beat the mini game, you I think I'm pretty sure I messed up here. Yeah. So with each level you beat in the mini game, the music gets faster and faster, which means you have to time your inputs faster. And you get more and more points, but it's not like it's not cumulative. Did I pronounce that right? I'm sorry. But it doesn't add up. It's just more like the amount of points you would get if you lose right here. And I'm pretty sure if you beat the minigame and get the 1-up, you don't get any of those points anyway, so it's definitely not like the 32X game where you use the minigames to grind points. It's more like you use these minigames to get 1-ups, assuming you beat it. So yeah, I did mess up there on purpose. I just wanted to clear one level. And I am also going to show off the Samurai minigame, which is actually a bit different from the other two. It's still timing based, but it's not exactly music based. So the way the Samurai minigame works is you have to wait for the right moment to press the button. Here it comes. There we go. So it's kind of like that one Kirby minigame where you have to just attack right before the enemy does, but it has to be at the specific moment. So right here I pressed it too early, and that caused me to lose the minigame. So what you have to look out for that minigame is you hear this gong sound, and that sound is the signal for you to press the attack button. So yeah, I just want to show those off for a bit. I wasn't trying to like beat them or anything. And for all the mini games, if you do beat them, you do get a 1-up. Unless I'm wrong on the samurai one, and you get like 3 1-ups or something. But I'm pretty sure it's 1-up. Hopefully, I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it's time for the final section coming up. This is it. We are at the end of the game, finally. There's just one problem though, and here it comes. So you see these two, think about it, they take their own separate paths, and you'll start off as Katie. Now what I'm thinking here is, okay, so, you know, both get to do a pretty cool level or whatever, right? Like surely that's the case, right? No, that's not what this game does. Instead, this game wastes more of your time with a boss rush. And it's like, oh, cool, my favorite. Alright, anyways. I thought my mic turned off. I had to check that real quick. But this section is the exact same noise. If you beat this boss before, then you know exactly what to do. For these boss rushes, I'm just going to skip it. Because, it's the same pattern. There's absolutely nothing different. With one tiny exception, which I'll get into when we get there, but yeah, you face the bosses again, and the patterns are exactly the same. Exactly the same. So it just, again, it feels like the game is just wasting more of my time, yo. Like just give me the new stuff. I don't want to do the same things over and over, like going back in the elevator or fighting the bosses again. Like even the 32X game didn't do that, at least to my knowledge, except for the elevator part at least. But it didn't have a boss rush. Did Tempo Jr. have a boss rush now that I think of it? I don't remember. I haven't played that game in so long. Anyways, after you defeat that boss as Katie, you do go back into Tempo. And we get some good signs here. I'm like, okay, are we going to go back to the boss rush? No, actually, you get to a short level first. So if you jump on these, you can get some health back, which is pretty cool. And avoiding the obstacles here isn't too hard. You see some of these laser bots, just jump over them when they're not shooting their laser up. Alright, cool. And then you want to jump over this golem. I don't know how I failed there, but that's fine. It's because I missed the bag, obviously. But yeah, I didn't feel like defeating it, so I just jumped over it. Now this section here, it's kind of difficult to explain. You actually have to jump on these windmills, and then you have to make a jump to the next windmill. The problem is, unless you've already done this, it's kind of hard to tell when to jump and which windmills to jump to. So like, yeah, right there, I was actually trying to skip unfortunately I missed the windmill somehow, but I was trying to skip the windmill to the right. That's when you're supposed to go to, like the one right here. But as you saw earlier, it's possible to just skip it entirely and go to the one that's right above. And you can also notice the space doll on the right. But again, I'm not trying to collect everything. I'm trying to get the quote-unquote worst ending, so I do avoid that intentionally. Even though it would give me a 1-up, but with the lives I have left, I will be fine. Now, if you don't get the hook, the zip line there, you can try to jump on the back to the left instead to bounce onto the hook. Otherwise, you will have to make that jump on the windmill. But yeah, it's a boss rush. They will make you fight all the bosses again. The only exception being round 3, because I didn't really have a boss. It was just actually no, round 3 did have a boss. Which stage am I thinking of that didn't have it? Was it round 2? No, round 2 had the Red Riding Hood. How am I really? Oh no, it was round 5 when you go into space. What am I saying? Jeez. So you fight all the bosses again. That was a crab, and then they make you face again another boss. And this is the slight difference I mentioned whereas the last time I fought this boss, I was using Katie, and with this boss I actually have to use Tempo. It's still the same deal. Just use your bubbles to damage it and avoid the sheep when they appear, and you should be fine. So there's really not a whole lot of a difference, except for the fact that Tempo can't fly like Katie does. Other than that, it is still an easy boss fight. And of course, there is one last boss to take care of, which is the frog. And again, it's the same exact deal. You just hit the tab pose until you get the power up, and then once you get the power up, you mash the buttons. So yeah, it's like, I really feel like this boss rush was not necessary, dude. Like, I don't know. I don't think it ruins the game or anything. I don't want this to sound like a big deal, like I'm making it out to be, but like, it really wasn't necessary. I would have much preferred if the stage just kept going on. I mean, we already did all of that like elevator stuff in like the earlier in this level. It really didn't have to be even more longer. But you know, it is a platformer. They had to make the game long somehow, so I can't say I'm too surprised, I guess. But that's the thing though, the game has no password or save system, so it was really, really unnecessary. In my opinion though, so if you disagree, that's fine. Anyways, in this part, you're actually swimming up, which is kind of weird, and you have to swim to the top while avoiding taking damage here. I'm pretty sure I get hit once or twice here, but that's fine. And I think in this section, you will restart at the beginning if you lose a life, so you don't want to make too many mistakes here. And if you are trying to speedrun through this, obviously you just take hits on purpose. But again, I'm just trying to beat the game casually. I'm not trying to do anything crazy. So you will have to tap down like in sections like this. You see me tapping down a lot to stay in place. And then you go up to the boss fight. Alright, now it's time for what I think this should have been the final boss, but there's still one more fight after this, unfortunately. But yeah, this is a cool boss fight, so you actually, I mean, there's some intense stuff you're seeing right here. Nah, I'm just kidding. Anyway, that was just showing that you can, like, wait a bit. There's no rush. But, this is a cool boss fight because you actually face against, clones. And it's like kind of like a, how many parts is there to this? It's like, there's like 5 parts to this boss fight. So with this first part, you actually do face yourself. And what you have to do is hit the note, above, tempo. And this is similar to like the, you know, the piano thing, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or whatnot. That's what these notes stand for in a sense. And yeah, you just hit the notes and you have to collect all of them to finish the boss fight. So that's one, and in this next section, you have to face 2 clones. And this is where the fight is a little hard, because you don't have a lot of room to maneuver if they corner you like this. And I think it was because I got cornered that I think I eventually get hit. Yeah, I got hit right there. They do get some damage on you by jumping on you while you're in that bubble. And when you hit them 3 times, they'll start running towards you and doing a high jump, and you kind of have to match their jump in order to hit the note, because after you hit one of the clones 3 times, they'll start running towards you, and then you do a big jump, and like you see the notes all the way up there, and then it will come down as they're jumping, and that's when you have to hit them. Now, I wouldn't really call this a problem, but like the only thing with this boss fight is that the notes do have their own iframes, so you can't get too aggressive. You kind of have to wait for the iframes to stop, like when they stop blinking. So you can't do a lot of damage in a short amount of time. You just have to hit it like once. I said once twice, good grief. Anyways, you have to hit it once, and then you like wait for the iframes to disappear. Now for this section, there will be 3 KDs to defeat. You can actually destroy the flames with your bubbles, and they'll either swoop down from above like that, or they'll come in from one side in a single line and before flying up. So I'm just waiting in the corner. It's hard to gauge when to jump, but if you can jump at the right time, you can actually hit all 3 of them at once. I wasn't able to do that there, but at least I defeated one of them, so it should be a bit easier. And you can see that in this boss fight, I was actually losing plenty of health here. But despite that, I still think this is a pretty cool boss fight. Like, I like the idea of just like facing clones in different patterns or whatnot. I do think the last 2 parts is a bit silly, but it's whatever. Anyways, there is that was the last KD clone, and now we gotta face Super KD. And yeah, this is the silly part where it's really not a hard boss fight. You kind of just stand still for a bit, and then once the iframes wear off on the note, you just jump and attack while moving forward to make her move forward. And yeah, she even backs up right there, so it looked like I was cornered, but no. I'm pretty sure one more hit would do it. Again, I'm just standing still waiting for the iframes, jump and attack, and that phase is done. So that part was really easy. And coming up is the last clone, which will be, if you can guess by now, it will be Super Tempo. Now this part is a little difficult, just a bit, at least at first, because when Super Tempo jumps and lands, it causes an earthquake. An earthquake that's really active, like even if you land like about a second after he does, it can, you see like right there, like it will still hit you. And during that animation, you actually can't move, you can't mash the button to get out of it, I think. So yeah, that can throw you off if you're not like ready to jump out of it. Now, after you hit him about 2 to 3 times, you instead start jumping in place with the note, and you want to attack him when he's jumping up. And if you're ever getting cornered, just run under him first so that you can get some more room and then hit the note after. As long as you know that this boss fight isn't too bad. The only thing that will trip you up is the earthquakes, but again, as long as you're ready for them, you can just jump above them. And yeah, we are coming up to the final boss of the game. I'll let this cutscene play out and I'll get into the final boss as it appears. And now for the real boss fight. So, I am going to lose here on purpose because I know I'm not going to be able to do this without taking a hit. And yeah, the boss fight will restart when you do, so you do have to do this in one shot. One thing that is kind of annoying is that, like, not only does your health refill, like, not only does your health not refill between stages, but when you respawn, you don't get your max health back. Even though my max health is 8, I still only get the default 5. Again, I don't know if this is because of the difficulty, so maybe it's different on super easy or something. Wait, let me explain this boss fight. So all you can do is move left and right in a circle. And you can attack by pressing, by mashing the B button. Now, I'm pretty sure that, like if you hold it, he'll shoot at least 6 shots and then you can just hold it again. But otherwise you can just mash the button instead. Like either or works, right? Now, this boss fight in particular is really easy to take damage here. It's hard for me to give advice for this boss fight because when he gets more aggressive and shoots more and more eyes at the same time, it feels like I have to intentionally avoid his line of fire. And like you see that even when I'm missing, I'm still firing just in case. And the reason is because like I'm firing in the hope that he just walks into my shots. And I took a lot of damage there. Jeez, I could have taken the 3rd hit if I got unlucky. Like I thought the invisibility was about to wear off again. But yeah, I always keep shooting even if he's not on screen, just in case he just runs into the shots, like right there. And he gets really, really aggressive when he has low health. And I'm 1 hit away. This is a really close fight, man. And I should have died right there too. Like the eyeball went right into me, but I defeated him right before that happened. But yeah, I'm gonna be real. I'm not a huge fan of that fight. It's cool, like, you know, the idea is really cool. It's cool that they like, you know, like you're a dragon and all that. I think the transformation alone was really surprising because you see the silhouette of Tempo in his dragon form in the title screen, but I thought that was like, I don't know, like the final boss or something, like some secret boss or whatever. But no, that was actually Tempo himself, just like combining the Kalgi with the mysterious mask. So that was pretty cool. Anyways, coming up is the ending. In this ending, you will get a message from Major Minor where he says like, "Hey, congrats on your performance and whatnot." And then the prince will talk to you and explain how much all of your items are worth. As usual, I am going for the worst ending, so I actually picked one of the least expensive items. I'm pretty sure it's called a fake item. So the potion on the left. If you're trying to get the best ending, you need to pick the one in the middle. And plenty of these items do come with an additional decoration, like the cactus and the water and like the aquarium for the fish and all that. But you can only get those once, so it's not something you can stack. Anyways, here's the ending, and I will be back for when the credits play. And so, Tempo and Katie lived a happily ever after. And yeah, that was Super Tempo for the Sega Saturn. I mean, I don't know what to say about this game. I'll say this, okay? The game is good. I think this is better than the 32X game. And if someone's going to get into the Tempo series, even though it's only like 3 games, you know, Tempo Junior is obviously the easiest one. It was meant for kids, so if you want a super easy game, you can start with that one if you want. But I'd say start with this game. It's very simple. It has a lot of cool aspects in it, a lot of cool surprises. And it's a safe game, you know? Like, the controls are more simple, it's easy to get into. The stages are straightforward for the most part, though there are going to be some times that you might be confused, mainly due to like the language barrier, if you don't know Japanese. But still, I do think this is a really good game. I wouldn't call it underrated because I still think the game is pretty simple and it's relatively easy to get through if you know what you're doing. But it's still a fun little game, right? Like, obviously there's no save points. It does feel like a very long platformer, but the game's pretty cool. But here's the thing. I actually prefer the 32X game, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned that in the intro. But I can't stress that enough because this is not a game I want to play again. And again, it's not because I think this game is bad. It's not like, oh, this game's awful, I don't want to play it again, or it's too repetitive or boring. I think this game is good and it's pretty fun in its own right. But the 32X game is just, man, something about it when you just when you get used to the controls and you get better and better and you just start like all of the movement options, the running, the super jumps, like the kicking, like the wall kick jumps and all that, like it just feels so fun to get better at that game, man. Like it feels really good. And it has a lot of cool aspects I like that aren't in this game. Like you know, Temple doesn't even kick anymore. Like now he just turns into a muscle head and just punches. Like what happened? But that's just my preference, alright? If you think this game is way better, that is actually very understandable because I think this game's good. I think it's better. Like I agree, right? But again, for me personally, any day of the week, if I see Super Temple over Temple 32X, I'm always going to play the 32X game no matter what because just it feels good. It doesn't feel an hour and a half long. Especially if you already know how to deal with like the mazes and all that. And yeah, that's another thing too. While this game is good, I feel like the playtime like is holding it back because like the playtime is really holding it back. Because so much of it was unnecessary. We really didn't need the boss rush. That last stage goes on for way too long. And it just, man, it can feel like a slog. It can. But I still think this is a good game. I still think it's technically better than the 32X game, but I'd much rather play the 32X game. There's just so much room to improve. It feels so good when you get good at it, and it's more fun in my opinion, alright? In any case, I do hope you enjoyed this long play. If you actually do wait 5 minutes in the credits, it will tell you a cheat code, which is hold YZ and R if I'm not mistaken, and press L, and you get a round select when it says the words round start. But yeah, I already showed that in all the endings. You can always see that video or read the guide. I really hope you enjoyed this long play. I hope my commentary wasn't too messy. I have been recording for a long time now, but yeah, that's it, guys. And with that said, I'll see you later.